Morning. If you, I apologize for the delay. We had some technical difficulties. If you would please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'm open to the executive session on House Bill 59. And I understand there are some folks here that came today for the executive session on this bill. We are still talking to a couple of other people or stakeholders that are interested in this bill. And we were intending to put it off until next week for the vote. Oh, I'm sorry. For the people that are here for 59 today, I understand you were here for our executive session to endorse us passing the bill. If you wanted to address us, I'd be happy to hear from you. Our intent is to continue with that bill. We are not, we're not killing it or anything, but we are talking to other stakeholders that are interested in the bill, and I wanted to give them an opportunity to be heard, and I have not had a chance to speak to them this week. So we will be recessing this bill until next week for our final vote. If you came here today to address us, or if you just wanted to have anything to say, I'd be willing to hear from you. Or did you just want to be here to kind of moral support type thing? No. Okay, very good. All right. So with nothing further, then I'm going to recess House Bill 59 to, I believe, what was it, next Wednesday? Yeah. With that, we'll open executive session on House Bill 87 and recognize Representative Savorn Descharnay for a motion. I skipped it on purpose.
For House Bill 87, I motion ought to pass.
Representative Lascelles?
Second.
Second.
Go
ahead.
I will second that.
Seconded by Representative Lascelles.
Yeah.
Discussion. Would you like to speak to your motion, Representative?
Yes, this bill prohibits the posting of land not owned by the poster. It's protecting of property rights, and individuals should not be posting on land that is not their own.
Thank you. Representative Lascelles, would you like to speak to your second? No, that's fine. Okay. I'll just add that this was brought, the issue is people going hunting on land that's not posted, pulling up in their truck, getting out, going into the woods, coming back out, being called by the police, and meeting them out there to ask them why they're hunting on posted property, because while they were out there, someone stapled up some no trespassing, no hunting posters. Turning out that it wasn't really their property, it's just activists who don't like hunting. So this would make it unlawful for someone to post land like that if it's not their property. Further discussion. Representative Harriet Gathright.
Yes. I don't have a problem with the bill, but I do have a problem with the actual misdemeanor B. I would be willing to take a look at it and maybe do something like a violation, a fine, then a misdemeanor. But to start off with a misdemeanor B, I have a problem with that.
Further discussion. Given Given the late date, I do not anticipate waiting on that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion on the floor, excuse me, Representative Muse.
I just want to say that I agree with Representative Harriet Gathright. I think that this penalty, a Class B misdemeanor, is a little too severe for something of this nature, and a violation level offense would be more appropriate. The idea that somebody might get a criminal record for what could be a prank doesn't sit well with me.
What doesn't sit well with me is that someone who's out there hunting will be charged with a criminal offense for trespassing or on posted property until they can prove otherwise. So a prank that could end up with someone with a criminal charge, in my mind, should be a similar offense. With that, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion on the floor is ought to pass.
Vice Chair Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Lascelles,
Yes.
Representative Bogert,
Yes.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Tudor,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Kesslering,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright,
No.
Representative Muse,
No.
Representative Newman,
No.
Representative Murphy.
No.
The clerk votes no. Representative Newell,
No.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
9-6.
9-6, motion carries. Who's going to write the minority report? Representative Pierre Gathright. If I could have it by Sunday, please. Let me see. And Representative Saborn Deschwanier, you'll write the majority in that? And with that, I close the executive session. I open the executive session on House Bill 245 and recognize Representative Saborn Deschwanier for a motion.
I motion in expedient to legislate for 245.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Rhodes. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yeah, yes, sir. We do not need to establish a separate fund for simply speed enforcement.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to your second?
That sounds good.
I like it. It's pithy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I ask clerk to call the roll. Motion on the floor is inexpedient to legislate.
Vice Chair Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Lascelles,
Yes.
Representative Bogert,
Yes.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Tudor,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Kesslering,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright,
No.
Representative Muse,
No.
Representative Newman,
No.
Representative Murphy.
No.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Newell,
No.
Chairman Roy.
Chair votes yes.
10,
10,
yeah, 10, 10,
10, 8,
5.
10, 5. Motion carries 10, 5. Who will write the minority report? And Representative Saborn Deschwanier, you'll write the majority report, correct?
Yes, sir.
And with that, I close the executive session. I open the executive session on House Bill 500. Recognize Representative Prue to make a motion.
I make a motion to ITL.
Second.
Would you like to speak to your motion?
Sure. I don't think we need to be telling the state police how to patrol the highways. They know where they need to be, and we don't need to be setting up enhanced zones. That's all I got.
Thank you. Would you like to speak to your second?
No, thank you.
Any further discussion? This is 500. Further discussion on 500? Seeing none, I ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion on the floor is inexpedient to legislate.
Vice Chair Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Lascelles,
Yes.
Representative Bogert,
Yes.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Tudor,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Kesslering,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Representative Muse. Muse.
Yes.
Representative Newman,
Yes.
Representative Murphy?
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Newell?
Yes.
Chairman Roy?
Chair votes yes.
15-0.
15-0. Any objection to going on consent? Seeing none, it will go on consent, and I hereby close the executive session. I open the executive session on House Bill 109 and recognize Representative Rhodes to make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move ought to pass.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Prue. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, if a person makes a false report about a police officer, not only does the officer have to, you know, go through the investigation process. Now there is obviously an incredibly black mark on their name, and not to mention the expense of it. So this would basically create a misdemeanor level if you knowingly make a false report about misconduct of an officer that you know that is false.
Would you like to speak to your second, Representative Prue?
Sure. I believe right now there's no penalty for making such a report. And I don't think people really grasp what a report like that does to an officer in his career, his job. He may be suspended while the investigation's going on. So there needs to be a penalty for making a false report. And I'm glad to see we're finally getting to it.
Thank you. I would add that as we mature as a society, we've decided we're going to hold our police officers to a higher standard, and I think that's justifiably so. At the same time, we have to understand we are in a partnership with law enforcement, so we must hold ourselves to that same high standard. So by making false reports about someone knowingly and intentionally, I feel like there definitely should be some type of societal answer to people that do that because of the incredible effect it has on someone who's the subject of such a report. I believe someone famously once said, "Where do I go now to get my reputation back?" And that's absolutely correct, because after the investigation is done and the officer's been cleared, their name's still out there in the press for that allegation forever. So I think this is an important bill. Further discussion. Representative Harriet Gathright.
I have a question. Can you define misconduct versus criminal conduct to us, please? I've been trying to figure that one out in this bill.
Representative Mannion, would you like to speak to that?
Yeah, so when I initially filed the bill, misconduct would be anything that's not criminal. But there was some testimony about misconduct being already defined in the statute for the Police Standards and Training Council. So that's different than criminal activity. So if somebody says that you used a racial slur, or they were rude to me, or they did something else that was just that falls under those guidelines, that would be misconduct. If somebody says they stole my money, or they assaulted me, or they touched me inappropriately, that's criminal activity that you're accusing the officer of. So there's two different distinctions there. Obviously, the latter being more serious.
I guess that depends on who's receiving that information, whether it's more serious or not. So
I would assume that no matter who's hearing it, it would be
I have
criminals
another question.
is more serious.
One other question.
Go ahead.
How is knowingly defined in law now in our laws? I couldn't find that.
Knowingly,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I don't know that it's defined in statute, but it's defined by the court. Knowingly would mean that you had to actually know for a fact that what you were doing was incorrect.
Which would be difficult to prove. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Chairman?
Yes.
With respect to knowingly, the way I think of it, and I think that's the way it is in law, is that it's possible for someone to make an accusation and make a mistake in it. They made a mistake, but knowingly doing it is different from making a mistake. So that's how I think of it.
You know the difference. All right, thank you.
Any further discussion? Did you want to add on that, Representative Mannion, on the knowingly thing?
Yeah, so there's four culpable state of mind: negligently, recklessly, knowingly, and purposely. So obviously they go up. So purposely would be the hardest to prove. But if someone did something negligently or recklessly, They still might be doing it knowingly, but that's less. That's less to prove. So knowingly is it's a pretty high standard to prove in court that you did it with that intent, that you knew it was false, but you did it to whatever, for retribution against the officer or whatnot. So that's the difference with knowingly.
Representative Muse.
Yeah, I'm going to vote against this bill. I think one of the big concerns that I have with it is it could very well discourage people from reporting police misconduct in the first place. We had some testimony from the state police also that the sworn falsification statute wouldn't apply if these statements are not, because these statements aren't sworn, and that another statute deals with unsworn falsification. So there may be overlap between that statute and this one. And I think the other thing we need to realize is the power equation between a citizen and between a police officer. There are remedies for police officers who are unfairly accused. There are processes in place. I'm just not sure that we need a law. We need to put a law like this into statute at this time.
Anything further? Seeing none, I ask clerk to call the roll. The motion on the floor is ought to pass.
Vice Chair Rhodes,
Yes?
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Lascelles,
Yes.
Representative Bogert,
Yes.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Tudor,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Kesslering,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright,
No,
Representative Muse,
No.
Representative Newman,
No.
Representative Murphy.
No.
The clerk votes no. Representative Newell,
No.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
9-6.
9-6, motion carries. Again, I'll need the minority report name by the time we finish. Who made the motion? Representative Rhodes, you'll do the majority report on that. We know those? With that, I close the executive session. For which one? We have an amendment. There should be an amendment out for that. I opened the executive session, House Bill 143. It should have received an amendment. And I recognize Representative Rhodes to make a motion on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move ought to pass and offer amendment 2025-0408H. I did ask, Representative Murphy was helping me hand them out, but then I did have a little bit of a situation with a drink.
Does
anyone need one? Does everybody have it?
Does everyone have the amendment? Yeah, I'm guessing by the blank looks, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so anyone second that motion?
That would be me. I was waiting.
Okay, Representative Proof second. Would you like to speak to your motion on the amendment?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this was the bill that came before us about the no trespass orders. And the concern was not that people should not be able to receive a no trespass order. It was the fact that there was not any kind of a process in place that if a person did. And when we heard testimony, there were some questions asked, when one of these trespass orders is given, is there also something given that tells them what the process would be to have this removed or how long this is going to be in effect? The answer was no. So the sponsor did hear some of the concerns we had with the way the bill was written. The amendment in front of you is basically a replace all, and it actually gives a process for a person if they do receive one. It talks about the ability to request a hearing. It does have in here, also some safeguards for the person that is issuing the no trespass order. In other words, if you receive a no trespass order and you violate that and you get another no trespass order within 2 years, they're actually able to have that no trespass order be for 1 year. It also gives them the ability to extend it for 90 days if they see fit. But more importantly, it gives a process for the person that received it, and it will be clearly outlined what the process is for them if they receive it.
Expect to speak to your second, Representative.
I think she covered it quite well, and but I would add that there definitely needs to be a way, and people have the knowledge to know that the no trespass order can be revoked at some point in time.
Thank you. Representative Rhodes, I know that there were some questions about how it would be appealed, and in the original bill, I think it said something about like they had to be unanimous or so. Has that all been addressed?
Mr. Chair, there is a process in here for the appealing, and if you give me a second, I can find the exact line. Line 15. So if you look at the very first part, like on line 8, it starts to talk about it, and then on line 15, it talks about requesting the hearing, and then it goes on. That's where it goes on to say how they can be extended. However, they can also be revoked.
Okay, and it takes now 2/3 under this versus a unanimous vote of the body, which is what I was trying to figure out. Thank you. Further discussion.
Thanks. Line 17 is your answer.
Yep. Representative Harry Gathright.
Yes, I am going to vote against this bill. I do truly believe that it does interfere with our 14th Amendment rights. And also, right now, today, that's handled by the city or the town. And I don't believe that we, as the state body, should be interfering with this situation.
Thank you. Further discussion. Representative Muse.
Yeah, as always, thank you for giving us these amendments, right as we're starting executive sessions. But in my quick read of this and my comparison of some of the testimony that we received earlier on this bill, is that this amendment does not address the concerns that were raised during the public hearing. One of the things that we heard the New Hampshire School Board Association testify to is that the school board or public body should not have to hold an additional meeting for the purpose of the hearing, that it can be held during the next regularly scheduled meeting. This amendment does not appear to do that. The vote is by a public body by a simple majority. This requires a 2/3 supermajority. There is no, the School Board Association requested no appeal to Superior Court. There is appeal to Superior Court in this. I think having guardrails around some of this is a good idea, but I think it really does need some additional work, given the fact that virtually no one, I don't think anybody aside from the sponsor, testified in favor of this bill. And the amendment that we have is from the same sponsor, and it doesn't address the concerns that were raised in the hearing.
Thank you. I would say that the concerns were raised only by the school board, and our caucus doesn't work for the school board, so we're going to go ahead and vote without it.
I would disagree. I would
so I
say
would
that
go ahead and,
the director of the Keene
I didn't ask you
Library-
to, you will not speak until I allow you to speak. I did not recognize you to speak. Thank you. With that, I would ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion on the floor is ought to pass. Or adoption of the amendment.
Vice Chair Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Betcha.
Representative Lascelles,
Yes.
Representative Bogert,
Yes.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Tudor,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Kesslering,
Yes.
Representative Harry Gathright,
No,
Representative Muse, Representative Newman,
No.
Representative Murphy.
No.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Newell,
No.
Representative or Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
10-5.
What?
10-5.
10-5, motion carries. Executive session on that bill is closed. We will be in recess for 15 minutes.
don't you have to pass it? Yeah. Right. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Arthur pass as amended.
So continuing vote.
140.
Is your
I recognize
mic on?
Representative Rhodes to make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move ought to pass as amended for 143.
Second,
Moved and seconded for discussion. Seeing none. Clerk will call the roll. Ought to pass as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to state for the other members of the caucus that the sponsor did send this to Chairman Roy, Vice Chair Rhodes, and myself on Wednesday, and I didn't realize that other members of the committee weren't copied on that email, so I apologize for not forwarding that on to others. But I do believe the sponsor has shown good faith in trying to address some of the concerns that we have, and I hope if this bill makes it to the Senate that any further adjustments can be made if they're necessary.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
yes.
Representative Lascelles,
Yes.
Representative Bogert,
Yes.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Tudor,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschrenier,
Yes.
Representative Kesslering,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright,
No.
Representative Muse,
No.
Representative Newman,
No.
Representative Murphy.
No.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Newell,
No.
Chairman Roy,
Gerald's yes.
10-5.
With that, I close the session. All right, we're still in recess till quarter up.
Mr. Chairman, if I just may make if I may, there is the amendment that we were waiting for House Bill 62, which is why it was not opened first thing this morning. But it is on its way around. We were able to just get this from OLS. So thank you.
For the benefit of the people that are here, I'm opening House Bill 59 executive session just to let you know that we will be recessing it until next Wednesday as we work on language. So thank you for coming. With that, I open the executive session on House Bill 62 and recognize myself for a motion to introduce amendment number 0282H.
Second.
This amendment is brought after discussions of stakeholders. The coalition and the Department of Defense went over this language and requested the amendment. Basically, nothing's changed. This just makes it so that military protective orders are admissible in our proceedings towards getting as evidence towards another protective order in the civil court. Would you like to speak to your second?
No, thank you.
Further discussion on House Bill 62, amendment number 282H. Representative Harry Gathright.
Since this is replacing that, can you give us a moment just to read through it? It's replacing what was originally given to us.
Sure.
Thank you. I'm good. If everybody else is. This is the one that was in fruition. The problem that I'm having with this is, where do we draw that line? I wrote myself notes because, I mean, I'm probably gonna say yes to it, but I'm struggling with it because where do you draw the line between the local government and federal government? So today, we don't want no federal government in things. Then now we get something, now it says, yes, we want federal.
None. I'd ask the clerk to call the roll. Motions to ought to pass as amended.
Vice Chair Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Lascelles,
Yes.
Representative Bogert,
Yes.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Tudor,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschonier,
Yes.
Representative Kesslering,
Yes.
Representative Harry Gathright, Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman,
Yes.
Representative Murphy.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Newell,
Yes.
Representative Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
16-0.
16-0. Any objection to consent? Seeing none, will go on consent. I hereby close the executive session. That I open the executive session on House Bill 640 and recognize Representative Saborn Deschonier to make a motion.
Yes, my motion is ought to pass.
Seconded by Representative Rhodes. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, government efficiency is the word of the day, and I think we'd all be very interested in finding out exactly what the federal government is doing in our state.
Thank you. Representative Rhodes, you'd like to speak to your second?
No, thank you.
Any further discussion? Representative Harry Gathright.
No, when I look at this, I'm really struggling with it, to be honest with you. And then I looked at the cost to the state with possibly 3 positions. And from my understanding, we're struggling with the budget as it is. I don't think that I can vote for this. So I'm going to say no to this one. I can't accept it.
Thank you. I also was concerned about the cost. However, We are a policy committee, and I believe that they're going to have to figure out whether or not that's an accurate estimate. I find it difficult to wrap my mind around needing basically an entire legal office just to collect the documents of what the federal government's doing as far as law enforcement in our state, to pass it on to us. But I'll leave that to finance to figure out between them and the
It's not
Department of
connected to the
Justice.
Senate anyway.
Representative Murray.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I agree that I would love to know everything the federal government is doing in our state. I do think the quarterly reports is maybe where it gets a little too overburdening to the AG's office, especially if we're trying not to supply more staff there, just because of the time, considering the amount of divisions there are that they would have to reach out to, and that we have no control over over whether they're going to respond or not. So having the AG's office have to go through this whole like rigmarole every 3 months, I think could potentially be too much to start with. I feel like if this was like every 6 months or once a year, I would be more likely to support it. But I like the idea behind.
Thank you. Further discussion? Representative Muse?
One of the reasons I'm going to vote against this bill is I'm not 100% sure what it actually accomplishes. This is information that I already, that I understand is already published by the federal government. It seems to just put an unnecessary burden on the Attorney General's office, and an unnecessary burden that costs money in a budget year. And I think the other thing that I notice as a frequent user of virtually all of our agency websites is one of the hardest things to do in the state of New Hampshire is to find anything on any of our agency websites. And if I was to invest $200,000 in improving the experience of voters in this state on our agency websites, I would put it into some web design and feedback on and how to make it easier to use. And one thing I might do is actually put in a usable search engine, which none of our agency websites seem to have. So the bottom line is there are a heck of a lot better ways to spend $250,000 than on information that's already there. Thank you.
Representative Newman?
Yeah, I just have a question about line number 5. That says the Attorney General shall formally request that the federal government and agencies with law enforcement, investigatory and operational activities voluntarily provide the following aggregated data. And what happens if the federal government just does not voluntarily do that? I'm not sure what this bill says happens then.
Well, I don't think anything happens. I don't think we can make the federal government do anything. I think what this bill would do is mandate our Attorney General to ask the federal government. If the federal government says no, then the answer is no. Further discussion. Representative Scher.
It's a combination of the cost, understanding that finance hopefully will sort that out. Combination of the cost and having somebody, let's assume the cost is validated, having someone every 3 months ask the federal government for X, Y, and Z, all the agencies, and them saying, not even responding. I very much like the idea, but I'm just not sure it's worth the cost, assuming the cost is valid.
I assume the answer would probably be more along the lines of what Representative Newman thinks it's going to be, and there would be no cost because there'd be no information forthcoming.
Yeah, I think the problem is they're still required to find all the agencies operating in the state and sending the letter out so that they can collect the non-answer. That just seems a waste of time.
Further discussion. Seeing none, motion on the floor is ought to pass. Ask the clerk to call the roll.
Vice Chair Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yeah.
Representative LaSalle,
Yes.
What is that?
Representative Bogert,
Yes.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Tudor,
Yes.
Representative Sabourin Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Kesslering,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright,
No.
Representative Muse,
No.
Representative Newman,
No.
Representative Murphy.
No.
The clerk votes no. Representative Newell,
No.
Representative Shear,
No.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
9-7.
9-7, motion carries. Again, minority report today, please. If you could tell me who's doing it. And who made this motion? Representative Sabor and DeChanel? We'll have the majority report. With that, I close the executive session. And what else do we have? Anything? I'm opening executive session on House Bill 159 for the purposes of advising the public that there's yet language work being done in this bill and will be reopened and taken up again next Wednesday. I'm opening executive session on House Bill 592 relative to magistrates and bail. And similarly, that one is currently being worked on for language purposes. And once that's ready, we will readdress it next Wednesday. And what else? Is there any other I have to reopen?
146, 162.
146. I already did, right?
No.
That's body camera.
That's the body worn camera.
Executive session on 146 for the use of body worn cameras. That one is also going to be held over to next Wednesday, as there is another amendment coming on that one. And mine, which one? I did 159. Didn't I just say 159?
I didn't.
Yeah, okay. 62.
That's body worn cameras. You just opened and did.
I just did that, 162.
You did 146.
Oh, so 162.
146 is
This
relative
one.
to the use of body worn cameras.
Yeah, what about 162?
We already did
We did
162.
162. Didn't we just do it? Executive?
162.
Yeah, executive. I thought we just did.
I thought we did too. I don't even know which one it is.
We did 62.
We did 62.
Oh, that's your bill.
What is?
It's consent. Law enforcement searches of houses and other property.
Yeah, we didn't do that one yet.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah, all right. So with that, I'm opening executive session on House Bill 162, and I would be happy to recognize Representative Shear for a motion.
I move ought to pass.
I second. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, this is a 6 or 7 years ago, the legislature passed a bill in which somebody who stopped, his car is stopped by the police, and the police asked for the consent to search the car. They needed to inform the person that they did not had a constitutional right not to consent, and that wouldn't be used against them. And if they agreed to consent, they would have to sign a form. That's been in place for, I want to say 6 or 7 years. I've heard no reports of any problems with that. This simply expands that to include searches of houses and other property with the same procedure. It's really at this point just a matter of tweaking the form that's already in place. I've talked with the chief in Portsmouth, and he said they were already doing it anyway, and they've had no problems with the process.
Thank you. I seem to remember that bill you were talking about. Can't remember if, I think I might have actually wrote that bill. Is that the one we're talking about?
I'm sorry?
The bill you were referencing from 6 or 7 years ago, that's the one that I wrote that, didn't I?
You did.
Okay, thank you.
You and Senator French.
That's right. And I think this is, anytime we can use the government more for educational purposes than enforcement purposes, or both at the same time, we should. So by having law enforcement remind people of their rights, in my opinion, is not a bad thing. especially when it comes to searching their most private areas of their house and things of that nature. Further discussion? Seeing none, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion on the floor is ought to pass.
Vice Chair Rhodes,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative LaSalle,
Yes.
Representative Bogart,
Yes.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Tudor,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Duchenier,
Yes.
Representative Kesslering,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman,
Yes.
Representative Murphy.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Newell,
Yes.
Representative Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
16-0.
16-0. Any objection to consent? Seeing none, it will go on consent. And that ends the executive session. Before we wrap up, is there any other business that anyone can think of that we have not handled that we should be handling? Or anything anyone thinks we should exec, because we can. Which one?
Hearing. Yeah, hearing it.
For what?
The bill that increases the reporting standards for the northern border.
Oh, that's your bill?
Yeah, I have an amendment for it. and
Relative to
I
the,
can show you. It doesn't have to be on this, does it?
no. Mm-mm. Yeah,
I'll show you the amendment.
yeah.
If you get that.
Oh, we have to come at 1 o'clock for this relative to
Yeah, we have to stay there.
driving while intoxicated. Wait a minute, isn't that my bill?
That's the one you did.
That's the one
You
I-
scheduled for 1 o'clock?
I didn't copy that. That's, but I know there were two. Yeah, no, I got that. Yeah. So. But this, but I believe that was recessed to be opened at 1 o'clock for Terry to, what Terry did, talk about.
Okay, we're going to be in recess till 1 o'clock. Real quickly, I'm opening the public hearing on House Bill 776.
You want to go testify on it?
No, I do not want to add anything that wasn't already added. I appreciate you for holding it over for me. And with that, I will close the public hearing. We're done. No,
We already
nothing.
did it. We actually did.